Hey everybody, it's VBL-S Week 3. We are taking on Tuxthany Muxthany, the Tornadus team in the division. Here's the team. Scary team in my opinion. Torn is a real menace. I think Iron Hands, Chen Pao, Tornadus are probably top 3 in Draft League. Torn would have been my first pick, probably, if I wasn't sniped by Tux Mux. But we will get our revenge for this evil, evil crime. I think Torn is really interesting because just by clicking Tailwind, it's going to enable so many Pokemon. And by being offensive as well, it's like the best possible Pokemon you can have on the field if you're not facing Trick Room. But it allows you to put together a draft like this that has reasonable speed tiers, but overall like a bunch of bulky Pokemon that are right in the middle and do a ton of damage. Stuff like Boosted Okidogi, Magnezone, even Articuno in the snow, Regidrago, Basculegion. All these Pokemon have great numbers, right? Literally every single Pokemon here I think has something that is outstanding about its damage output. Eruption, Adaptability, Dragon's Maw, Wind Rider, Analytic on Magnezone wouldn't count, but it has one of the biggest special attack stacks in the game. Articuno has Blizzard with the Prankster Snow, and then I guess the only thing that doesn't, besides the kind of bottom pieces, would be the Okidogi, who has Guard Dog as a Intimidate deterrent. So, like, everything on this team really cooks with the Torn. That said, they do rely on spread moves with the Bleakwind Storm, with the Eruption, with the Dragon Energy and the Blizzard, and then even perhaps a Electro Web from a Magnezone and Electrode, and a Snarl from the Spiritomb. So Wife Guard, which I keep typing instead of Wide Guard, is going to be pretty beneficial. Luckily, I have the Hariyama, who is an incredible Pokemon that we'll get into a little bit more later. As mentioned, Trick Room is a pretty good counter to Tailwind, and that is something my team excels at, so that's definitely what we're going to lean into. He's got the weather options. He's got the snow with Kuno. He's got the sun with Typhlosion and Shiftry, and I think especially scary here is the rain mode with the Basculegion, which is good into the Torkoal, really strong into the Mimikyu as well. My team isn't great into ghost modes, and I'm not bringing Muck this week. So strong adaptability Shadow Ball, or strong, very fast Swift Swim Choice Specs Shadow Ball, something like that, with the speed advantage could be scary. And of course it overwrites my Torkoal's Sun. So we may be relying on our Cottonee this week to get the weather up. Drago is a big threat as well, resisting fire from Torkoal, resisting the Hydro Steam from Wake. Obviously, Wake can outspeed it, but they have better speed control in the fast mode than I do, and Walking Wake isn't exactly a Trick Room mon, so that's definitely something we need to be aware of, is the Drago output. I do have 2 Fairy types on my team, so that should hopefully scare it off a little bit, but no Steel type to resist, and one of the Fairy types is a Cottonee, which will die to an Iron Head or something from it, so we'll see. We'll see. I think the Drago is a big threat, and it's, you know, the second most expensive mod on this team. My whole last team under speeds. Trick Room seems pretty obvious. I do expect Tux to bring some kind of anti-Trick Room tech, whether it be Imprison Trick Room on the Spiritomb, whether it be the Roar from Dogi, or perhaps some sort of, like, I think Shiftry maybe gets Whirlwind. Prankster War, I've got my Cottonee versus his Tornadus, which I drafted Cottonee for specifically this kind of matchup versus a Torn or a Murkrow or a Volbeat or something like that. He does have the weather to win the war and the Tailwind to win the Tailwind, but if I can do Cotton Spore, I'll be able to outpace the Tailwind speed boosts, and then I can set up Sunny Day to clear out any sun or rain, or not sun, but rain, snow, or Sandstorm. However, he's got 3 Pokemon immune to the Cotton Spore, plus any Pokemon that happen to be holding a Clear Amulet or Terra Grass, so not sure if that's going to be the wave. We'll see what he brings to the game. Solid cores overall. Just this team I think is really well put together. Typhlosion, Basculegion, Shiftry, Fire, Water, Grass. They have the Dragon and the Steel type in Magnezone and Drago. Of course, no Fairy, and also no Ground, which is going to be something we can probably exploit with our team build. Team leans special, with the Drago likely clicking Dragon Energy, Torn clicking Bleak Wind Storm, those being the top two, and then probably Basculegion and Typhlosion and Articuno being the next ones. Dogi's good as well, but it's always an awkward mon to use. Yeah, interesting pieces, but I think they lean special, so we can abuse that a little bit in our prep. And then overall, just this team has got bulk, it's got offense, and it's got speed, and that's how you win Pokemon games. So I think this team has a lot of potential in this matchup. These are the 6 we're bringing. First time I'm not bringing Muck. Alan Muck is taking a little break, just not being great into this team besides the Spiritomb and the Basculegion. But we've got Cottony coming off the bench for the first time. Cottoneel making his debut. Let's get into what I am bringing this week. Cottoneel, here he is. Like I said, Cotton Spore and Sunny Day. I also have Encore. Torn is one of those mons that really clicks a lot of moves you want to Encore it into. Tailwind isn't exactly a tech move, but Encoring someone into Tailwind is really good. Same with Encoring them into a weather move. Encoring him into Protect. Leer, Scary Face, something like that could be really beneficial. Dazzling Gleam, max special attack, max HP, because the Eviolite is on Rhydon. I want to be slower than Torn so that I can Sunny Day after he goes for potentially Rain Dance or Snowscape. Yeah. Good mon. Terra Dark for any sort of prankster taunt shenanigans. I think this is a good matchup for Cottoneel, even though they have immunities to Cotton Spore. Just clicking Sunny Day could be good with the Walking Wake. We'll see. Speaking of Walking Jake, here he is. Life Orb this week with the special attack boost from Photosynthesis. The idea is if I have Cottony Wake out, I can protect with Wake, get off my speed control, and then Encore the Torn, so the Torn outspeeding me doesn't matter, and then I don't need the speed boost for anything else, and we're just KOing everything with Draco Meteor. The only resistor to Draco Meteor is the Magnezone, and we get that with Sunny Day boosted Flamethrower. So we're just Terra Dragon to KO neutral stuff. Terra Dragon, Life Orb, Photosynthesis, Draco Meteor is KOing pretty much everything on this team. Yeah. Other than that, though, it's Trick Room. Trick Room is clearly the best thing my team does, if the past few weeks are anything to show for it, and the best thing into my opponent's Tailwind-centric team. Mental Orb for the taunt, of course, and then just basic Trick Room, Play Rough, Shadow Sneak. We're running Terra Normal in case of any sort of Last Respects Basculegion stuff going on. Swords Dance, I think we have time to get off this week. Mimikyu is definitely going to be doing damage. Play Rough is really good into my opponent's team. +2 Play Rough. Is only resisted by the Typhlosion and the Magnezone, and is super effective against a ton of Pokemon. All the Dark types, of which there are 3, as well as the Regidrago. Yeah. Lariama. Wide guard here, as mentioned. Terra Steel is going to let us be resistant to the Regidrago Dragon move and the Bleak Wind Storm. Close Combat is good into pretty much everything on the team besides the Okidogi and the Spiritomb, other than the Basculegion and the Torn, who we hit with the Thunder Punch. So that's the set there. By the way, running minus special attack natures here because I calced a lot of Pokemon, including Mimikyu, to underspeed everything in Trick Room and then also outspeed everything if they are at -2 and not at +2 with Tailwind, or if they are in Tailwind at -4 from a doubled Cotton Spore. Torkyle. Eject Pack this week. Great item on Torkyle. Lets us overheat and then get out of there to get a second Sun up, if we happen to be in a situation that can leverage that. Terra Fairy, obviously, for the Drago. And then Earth Power and Eruption. Earth Power is going to hit the Typhlosion, and Eruption is going to hit basically the whole team besides that. Just a really good move. Good move to click in Trick Room if I get this guy in that situation. I originally had Helping Hand, and then I was like, you know what, fuck it. We're going to do Eruption. That's the move this guy clicks, and fires good into this team, and even if the Tornadus clicks Rain Dance, Eruption's still going to be doing a lot of damage at max power. Ride Donald, baby. Rock Slide and high horsepower Edgequake coverage is really good into this team. Only really resisted by the Drago and the Spiritomb and the Shift Tree in terms of not getting hit super effectively, and the Basculegion. Everything else gets hit super effectively by my dual stabs, and then Terra Blast covers the Shiftry and the Drago and the Spiritomb. So it's just Bastion Legion that I can't hit super effectively if I Terra. Investing into special defense, just like with Hariyama on these Pokemon with high HP numbers. And then the Terra Fairy is going to let us take a close combat from the Okidogi and kill back with a high horsepower. So, no Terra Poison for the Okidogi. Could be slightly weak to that. But we've got lots of super effective coverage into it between high horsepower and the obvious other one, which I'm showing you on my screen right now. It's none of them. That's the only super effective move I have into it. But I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue because we have big numbers into it. And Torkoal has inherently high defenses. So I actually already played this game because my mic was not plugged in. I did not get a live comm, so we're going to react to the games. All right. Here is game 1. We see... Oh, what? Better. Much better. You can see this is our 6. My opponent does not bring the Regidrago whatsoever. No Drago. No Shiftry. No Magnezone. Spiritomb, of course, is here. Let's just very quickly double check that Spiritomb actually gets Imprison. It does. Fantastic. I'm not a fool. At least in this way. I lean away from the mic to sneeze. You guys like that? That's what you come to the Jason Pollock channel for, right? Anyways, let's get into it. I decide to lead my Trick Room stuff, and he leads 2 Ghost types versus my Fake Out user. I'm expecting an Imprison here, so going for the Trick Room off-rip is probably not a good idea. However, Mimikyu is actually maybe faster than Bastion Legion, definitely faster than Spiritomb, and super effective coverage. So the Bastion Legion is the fastest thing on the field, gets a huge Live Orb hit into Hariyama, but Play Rough is going to do huge damage to Spiritomb, and we do huge damage to Bastion Legion, which puts it in Shadow Sneak range. Snarl comes out here, interestingly. Not a Trick Room, not an Imprison, not a double up into Yama. I get covering for the potential Protect on Yama, though this is a curious attack. Maybe covering for a switch-in of like the Torkoal or something like that. Maybe just saying, I'm going to attack Hariyama and I'm going to break the disguise on Mimikyu. So that's what happened there. We get our Flame Orb proc, and Torn switches out, which is a bit unfortunate for my opponent since I do throw a Thunder Punch into the slot, knocking it right down to Sash, putting it once again in Shadow Sneak range. Big Mimikyu game off rip. Terra Ice Articuno with Snowscape. Ah! Oh no, and Blizzard is going to take out Hariyama, so no chance to get the Snow Cloak yet, but we have Torkyle, baby. We do see that it's, Pressure, which we saw before. No Infiltrator, makes sense. I don't really do a lot of screen stuff. Not sure if Pressure is better, if there's some PP stalling stuff here, although it's sheer cold, so that happened. Play Rough is going to pick off the Spiritomb, which may not have been killed by the Shadow Sneak, and that is game 1. Let's get into Tame Goo. Game 2, folks. Game 2, we're going to switch sides. It's going to be the same leads. Ghost types versus Mimikyu and Hariyama. At this point, I'm saying, okay. Spiritomb went for Snarl versus these guys. It didn't go for Imprison. But I also didn't go for Trick Room, so he may waste his time going for just Trick Room. Maybe I can get off a Trick Room here. Bastion Legion protects, doesn't take a Thunder Punch, and we can see that Mimikyu's going last, and it is going to be indeed a Trick Room. Spiritomb with the Poltergeist hits Hariyama, and now being slower than both of my Mons, Spiritomb actually threatens a kill because my Hariyama has 0 defensive investment. We see Terra Ice from Bastion Legion. Really interesting. I expect it has a Ice Beam or Terra Ice Terra Blast. That's going to let it resist the Thunder Punch and the Shadow Sneak coming out. But Spiritomb goes for Snarl, I think aiming to break the Mimikyu disguise and then follow up with a Shadow Ball kill. He does unfortunately miss the Mimikyu, but he doesn't go for the Poltergeist. which means Hariyama lives and gets off a Thunder Punch into the Spiritomb. Only 40%, but that's enough with a follow-up from Mimikyu double up to kill. We see here that Shadow Ball was intended to go into Mimikyu and get a KO, along with that Snarl. Unfortunate miss there for sure. But then we would have been able to get in the Torkoal versus the Ice Basculegion, so not the worst case scenario. In fact, Torn comes out and then immediately he goes to Articuno. Not sure what the thought process was there. Maybe baiting out a Protect? Torn in. Maybe expecting me to play defensively in the face of a plus defense Basculegion with Blizzard, perhaps? Not sure. Anyways, Thunder Punch comes out, and we just go for Swords Dance. I expected this Basculegion to protect. I really did. Next to Torn. I thought that was the obvious play, because close combat here just clearly KOs it, which is why I double targeted into the Torn slot and went for a Swords Dance, but incorrect read, and we go down to the Shadow Ball. However, all is not lost, because Torkyle is here. I actually switch out Hariyama here, expecting this to be a Protect from the Basculegion, but it is not. It's not a Protect, and we got off a kill with the Eruption, which is just as well, because now we have another Fake Out in the back. He goes for Snowscape, and we miss the Articuno, but we have another chance. We get 2 misses on our spread moves, but each one finds purchase on 1 Mon. We Terra for the first time this set, and reveal the Eject Pack, which was actually revealed last game from the Bleak Wind drop, and pick it off with the perfectly accurate Terra Blast from Rhydon. And that is going to be the game. Sorry for the spoiler of there only being 2 games up there. I don't know if you can see that in OBS. Oh, you can't. Oh, amazing. All right. Well, that's the game. GG's to Tux. And see you guys next week. That is 3-0 and 6-0 in games. So feeling good so far about the season. Got a lot of very threatening opponents to face yet. Season is very far from over. So we're going to keep on putting in all of our best work to try to make playoffs. All right. See you guys next week.